Hey guys, what's up? Back again with my long promised or threatened record fair update. At least it seems like it's been a while to me. I've been talking about it and haven't gotten around to it. Still kind of working my way through the stack I got. Haven't listened to everything yet, but I've listened to enough that I figure I'll get into it and get this done. Like I was saying, I bought a bit more than I was kind of expecting to at the record fair. One of the main dealers I tend to buy some bulk lots from and bundle up was not supposed to be there, but ended up squeaking in. I guess there was a table cancellation or something, and he was able to get in. A little background on this seller. This is kind of an ongoing dig, I guess you'd call it, that has been going on since the spring shows of last year, 2014, so a little over a year. This guy's not really a regular vinyl seller. He's kind of an agent for a long-time collector, local DJ, radio host, kind of regional media celebrity guy who has a huge record collection. Apparently it's around 30,000 LPs, plus CDs and 7 inches and whatnot. He's slowly selling off a few crates at a time, and the way it started was he started clearing out his the reggae part of his collection first. So this guy was at the spring fairs last year, and I was there with a friend of mine who's also collecting reggae, and he spotted this guy first. He had an entire table of reggae records, which you just don't see in my area, and so both of us got in on that. We were kind of caught by surprise, trying to grab as much as we could. Just a lot of stuff you just do not see. Really good prices. So we grabbed a bundle there. The guy said he was going to be at the next show about a month or so later. So we were anticipating that. We were ready for him next time. Made a big hit at the next show. I got a big armload of stuff. And that was kind of most of the reggae he was selling. Mainly this guy's collection that he's selling through this seller is he's into all facets of kind of black music, jazz, blues, soul, funk, hip hop, and reggae. Reggae kind of wasn't a huge thing for him, but it was enough that he could fill up an entire table at the show. And that was just the tip of the iceberg of the first part of the collection that he was selling. So we kind of did our damage to the reggae part of the collection, and then we ended up visiting this seller at his house to pick up a few more bits. And from there on, I just kind of kept tabs on it and took a few bites out of his collection as the material coming through changed to different genres, R&B, funk, and jazz, and that kind of thing. And I've really had my collection move to a different level as a result of that. Probably wouldn't be making VC videos if I hadn't gotten onto this collection. And I've just learned a lot of stuff I had never heard of. The seller's not just a record seller, he's really knowledgeable and is able to point me in the right direction, make some suggestions and tips on what to grab. So yeah, that's been very educational and good for my collection. So I don't know kind of what the status is of it right now. The seller's kind of been talking about being burned out selling records and not wanting to do it anymore. I think there is still quite a bit of the collection to come. I don't know, so I don't know what will be happening with that. We'll have to wait and see. And like I said, I've just kind of taken a few bites out of it every so often when he gets a couple of new crates in. Sometimes I might just get a handful of records, and sometimes on a good day I might get a small armload. It's just it can be a mixed bag of stuff that's there. Sometimes it's stuff I'm not really interested in. Just a real mix of genres. Kind of not a lot of rock, but pretty much everything else. And yeah. So I'll get into what I got, and this is kind of representative of... I'll start off with what I got from this seller. I got a fair bundle, because he had quite a few by the same artist that were there, so why not grab them all at once. Usually this guy seems to sell everything that he has at his table when he does a show, so if you don't grab it then you don't see it again. So I bundled everything up here. First of all, prices I paid at the fair, highest price I paid was $15, I think, for a couple of things. And cheapest was $5. And usually I got some bundle prices, so it's a little different. I'll get into the stuff from this seller first. And averaged out, I got these for $6 each. First off, I got 2 by New Birth. Check that comic book inspired cover. That's pretty cool. There was no way I was leaving that one behind. That's called Behold the Mighty Army from 1977, Warner Brothers. And I got another one by them called Platinum City. That's from a year or two later. This, I think, is their final album before they broke up. So these guys kind of had their roots kind of the early 70s in a kind of funk band called the Nightlighters. There was actually a couple of bands that kind of merged and took the name New Birth. So kind of mix of funk, R&B, and more smooth soul. So yeah, pretty dope stuff. This one has got Deeper and The Mighty Army, the title track. This one, Platinum City, I almost think I like this one a bit better. Moving a bit away from funk into kind of smooth soul, flirting with a bit of disco. It's still got the price sticker from Black Swan Records in Vancouver, which closed up many years ago. It used to be down in Kitsilano, near UBC. And I got this one, Cornelius Brothers and Sister Rose, Big Time Lover. That is from, thinking 73-ish, gatefold. Their big hit was Too Late to Turn Back Now, if you know that one. And that's really typical of their overall sound. I have the album with that one on. I got a year or two ago, but grabbed this one when I saw it. They didn't kind of manage another tune quite as big as that, but everything else very much in that sound, kind of the swooping, soaring choruses and kind of lush string arrangements. Some kind of look down on it as a little poppy or soft, but I quite like their sound actually. Eddie Cornelius, the very distinctive lead vocal on Too Late to Turn Back Now, very recognizable on this album. I got this one, Joe Thomas Group, Coming Home. This is from late 60s, I'm thinking. So that one is on Cobblestone record label. It's a flute player. I have one more from him that I got earlier from the same collection called Masada, and he's in that kind of flute, jazz, soul vein. He's got mostly covers on here. He's got a cover of Soul Bossa Nova by Quincy Jones, which I recognize as I guess the Quincy Jones version was the sample in the Dream Warriors bombastic jazz style. That was a cool one. And I got Casey and the Sunshine Band, The Sound of Sunshine. I think it might be their debut. Actually just called the Sunshine Band on here, not yet Casey and. Of course, TK Records, Miami, Florida. This one a little funkier than kind of the more disco-leaning stuff that they came out with later. It's mostly instrumental, a few little light vocals here and there. It's got a version of Rock Your Baby, the George McRae tune, and some other cool stuff on here. Hey Jay, Sunshine City, Just a Groove, Miss B theme, Funky 75, some dope stuff here. And got this one, The Sequence, self-titled, Sugar Hill Records, 1982. These ladies apparently had the first female rap single. I think this is their second album. They're kind of a female trio, kind of like the 3 Degrees, First Choice kind of thing, but much grittier, much funkier, more street. It's not pure rap. They kind of mix up the funk and the hip-hop, as was not uncommon with some of the early LPs. I guess hip-hop was so new then, they didn't kind of want to put all their eggs in one basket, so they would mix things up a bit on the albums to appeal to different audiences. Yusef Lateef, The Gentle Giant, Atlantic promo. I have one other one by him I got from the same seller earlier, Part of the Search. I think it's a couple of years later. Definitely like this one a little better, more Afrocentric, a little funkier, more soul. Which the Part of the Search one kind of goes back more to the earlier jazz styles. But so yeah, that was a cool one. And I got a bunch by Slave. They were a funk band out of Dayton, Ohio. Kind of in the vein of the Bar-Kays at the same time. First big hit was called Slide. And guitar player on here, Drac, Mark Hicks, he had played in the Black Sabbath covers band. So he kind of brings that rock edge to their funk. So I had one earlier album, one of their other albums called The Concept that I got from the same seller. So I think I got everything by them up to about 1981. Got this one, Slave, self-titled, 77. I got Hardness of the World. Stone Jam. Yeah. Just a Touch of Love. That was cool. And, oh, one more here. Showtime. And getting more into kind of a disco funk vein, I got 4 by Sky. Self-titled one here. Rocking the latest in street fashion circa 1979. Again, this is Randy Mueller involved with this group. This was kind of a side project of his. He had formed Brass Construction and decided to spread his horizons and get involved with this group. Very clubby disco funk, a little seedy, a little steamy. Also got Skyline and Skyport. And Skyway. There was a couple of later ones at the guy's table, and a couple of the later Brass Constructions. I have like 2 or 3 of the earlier ones, so kind of didn't bother with those. So how much do you really need, right? And then this one. You know this guy's funky, right? Leon Thomas, Full Circle. This is a promo on Flying Dutchman. This guy's a singer, kind of again in the jazz soul vein. Started out with Pharoah Sanders. And this one, fairly on the mellow side. There's a couple of songs that get a little funkier. One called Balance of Life, I think, which has kind of an Afro-funk feel, and another one that has almost kind of a Brazilian Latin rhythm to it. And then I got 4, I think, by Caldera. Check that out. I think this is their whole discography, actually. This one is from '76, debut. These guys are jazz fusion, Latin jazz fusion. They're all from varying parts of the U.S. and Latin America, the members. And beautiful cover design with what is it there? South America and Africa coming together, which is kind of tells you right away what these guys are about. They're very much in the vein of Return to Forever, that kind of jazz fusion, except more on the funky side. They've got the Latin rhythms going, and also they're clearly inspired and working in the vein of groups like Earth, Wind and Fire. Maurice White and Philip Bailey are thanked on this album, and also got some of their later ones, Sky Islands. Time and Chance. And Dreamer. So that's all from this this one collection. And that's kind of typical stuff that I've been pulling from this collection. One thing about this this guy's stuff, everything is in just perfect condition, usually. One or two of the real old ones, like late 50s, early 60s, you might see are a little bit rougher, but always playable. But everything from kind of late 60s on is just almost perfect condition, and really, really reasonably priced. So that's the kind of stuff I've been pulling out from that guy for about the last year.